Hello everyone and welcome to the Spanish Grand Prix of 1993 with a massive change in the championship last time out where Damon Hill took his maiden Grand Prix victory in Formula 1. He'll be able to push on from here, he's only a couple of points back in the championship. Senna's second place allows him to push forward and Ferrari bring a couple of new parts to the Spanish Grand Prix in hopes that they can climb up the Constructors' Championship because they say that their championship position is a little bit unfair on their actual performance. They've been incredibly unlucky, and Minardi hopes to really give their car a run in this weekend and see where they are. But let's get ahead to the news before the Grand Prix. Damon Hill was over the moon with his first win in Formula 1. Frank Williams said he's been absolutely fantastic this season, deserved a Grand Prix victory, and he believes that's Williams really kicking on in this 1993 season. And could Damon Hill potentially be the world champion at the end of it? We'll have to see. Senna's hoping for more improved results as well. Ron Dennis says Andretti can build from podium. Now, with a lot of us believing that maybe Andretti would not have scored the podium if it hadn't been for the catastrophe on lap 1. It's safe to say that he drove very well. He had the pace to finish third, but he does need to push on from this, and with a full finishing grid, where could he finish? LaRousse could be about to fold. Finances becoming dire for the French outfit. They are desperately looking to get some cash together, but we could be saying goodbye to the Rousse team in just a couple of Grand Prix if they don't sort it out. A lot of unpaid bills is not looking good for the French outfit, but we'll keep you updated on that. And teams and drivers welcome less driver aids, according to Bernie Ecclestone, who says he's been speaking to the teams up and down the grid, and they welcome the removal of driver aids and the cost effectiveness that comes with that. Obviously, Williams were a little bit disappointed to hear that this is probably the case, as they believe they've got the best package, but if it brings everyone together, then that's exactly what we should be doing. And that's the end of the news for just before the Spanish Grand Prix. So let's get straight to the grid for Lights Out. It's a sunny day. There's a couple of clouds in the sky, but rain is not forecast, so it should be dry and breezy for today's Grand Prix. And it should be a good one. Williams looking incredibly strong at the end of last Grand Prix, and they really need to kick on because it is much believed they have the best car over a race distance, while McLaren believe they have a one-lap pace that is absolutely fantastic. And of course it is game on pole. Ahead of Damon Hill again, who's been absolutely fantastic in qualifying this season. He's ahead of his teammate Ayrton Senna. Jean Alesi in fourth. He wants more points with his teammate behind him. He looks fully fit now, Nannini. Schumacher's ahead of his teammate Brundle in their 6th and 7th. And Michael Andretti with a great result. He said he felt good with the car. The first time he's really felt good with the car. And he's out in 8th. Hakkinen 9th. Ahead of a fantastic Rubens Barrichello in 10th. Panis is in 11th place with De Cesaris in 12th. Berger in 13th and Comas in 14th, where he was having a difficult weekend. And Katayama 15th with Philippe Alliot in 16th place. Suzuki and Zanardi take 17th and 18th with Johnny Herbert behind them. And behind them is Gianni Morbidelli, who's really struggling this season, not replicating his form from last year. Leto 21st, Irvine is 22nd, Frentzen is 23rd, Kyle Wenglinger 24th, Larini and Capelli take the back row. And we're ready for lights, and we are away. Once again, the Williams get a stonking start. Their launch control is absolutely fantastic. Damon Hill to the lead as they dance towards turn 1. Game remains in 2nd place. It's a fairly decent start for him for once. But as Jean Alesi has jumped, Ayrton Senna, the race winner from a couple of weeks ago at the San Marino Grand Prix. But Hill will be over the moon as he leads with the McLaren 2nd, the Ferrari 4th, or 2nd Williams in 3rd, but Nannini takes out 5th place, and they've got the 2 Benettons behind with Andretti sticking it out in 8th place. But we're looking at Damon Hill here. Can he stretch a lead out? Because we don't really know the pace. We know that McLaren is rapid over one lap. They've got everything set to just so. Game was saying in an interview post-qualifying after he took yet another pole. But we're going to look at Ayrton Senna here on the grid now. And he initially gets away really well, but it's the second phase. He bogs down a little bit. He says he doesn't like the launch control system. And he is one of the drivers that massively, massively welcomes the change of no driver aids. And with a driver of his calibre, you suspect he would do rather well. And, well, I imagine he will do rather well. But we're looking at the back of his rear wing, and we're looking desperately into the eyes of Jean Lacey and the two Benettons that are just behind him. And yes, this was a little incident at the back of the grid. There appears to be an issue with Gianni Morbidelli going up to Suzuki and taking his rear wing off. Now, Gianni Morbidelli has an absolutely awful start to this season, and I need to pick it up because Audi decided to be good last year. But he definitely needs to pick up his form. Zanardi, poor Zanardi, he gets clipped and he's out of the Grand Prix. We're going to take a quick look at Morbidelli now on board. He just gets his braking well, and he just clips. He's not paying any attention to the cars in front. He stopped. The car slows down. The brakes are not failing. But he loses a front wing. Suzuki loses a rear wing and is out of the Grand Prix. And it's not great from him. It's not great from him. But we're looking at Damon Hill, the race leader, who is at the end of the first lap. And he's put a bit of distance between himself and the McLaren driver, the championship leader Game. And Nannini still finds his way into third place ahead of Ayrton Senna. And Jean Lacey in third place. My deepest apologies. But we are looking at Damon Hill now. It has been fantastic. Now we're looking at Eric Comas, and he's had a difficult weekend. Struggled last time out as well. Obviously, no one really gained anything other than Williams in the previous Grand Prix. But Comas has been struggling all weekend, having accumulated a fantastic number of points, and he's out. Oh, that's shocking. And that's Gerhard Berger, who's dive-bombed him from a million miles away. Let's have a quick look here. I think he just gets it all wrong. Why is no one looking where they're going today? And that flips Gerhard Berger, and we hope he's okay, but from a long way back, it's got to be brakes. That's got to be... A world champion like Gerhard Berger should not be having issues like that. And that is absolutely shocking behaviour. But we are looking at Jean Lacey in third place. He still remains ahead of Ayrton Senna in fourth place, and he's run very wide. He's not going to allow Senna to put a move back, and he easily barges his way past. And that forces a Lacey off the track and into the final corner. But Ayrton Senna now into third place. A small gap has been made between the front two and the rest of the pack, but it's interesting to see. And we're looking at Michael Andretti, who's holding off Mika Häkkinen for 7th place in this 8th place in this Grand Prix. But Mika Häkkinen is putting a lot of pressure on him. A lot of pressure. And we know that Ligier is very good in some scenarios. They know where they need to improve on, but it's a good start for the Ligier team. But this is Hill. This is Game. And we expect the pit stops to be coming very, very soon. But has Hill used all his tyre in the early laps of this Grand Prix? Because Game's coming back at him now. And that McLaren is doing fantastic work. And McLaren are very impressed with their active suspension. They still think Williams are a cut above the rest. But it's definitely close. And Benetton are, well, we would have to see, because if FIA are going to ban it, I can't see a lot of upgrades coming this year. So that could be interesting, one to look out for. But I imagine pit stops are going to be coming very, very soon. And that is Damon Hill into the pits. First man to blink, first man into the pits. He had great pace early doors. He gets the car stopped. That look at the left. Game leads the Grand Prix now. And Senna is going to come past and move up into second place. And a Lacey's in. A Lacey's in, same lap as Hill. And there is a Benetton coming down pit lane as well. And that is Martin Brundle. He stops on his marks fantastically. And that's Michael Andretti, who is going to come out ahead of Damon Hill. Can he put a little bit of a fight up here? Because this could really massively play a pivotal role in the outcome of this Grand Prix. But we'll have to see. Michael Andretti quite a considerable amount slower than Damon Hill, it would seem. And that's Andretti going fairly slowly as Hill just drives past. Does Michael Andretti have an issue in his McLaren Ford? And he's going to come into the pits, but is he going to? Yeah, he is. He's retiring the car. Gearbox issues he's stuck in a gear. He's stuck in gear. He was in the points, a handful of points, and another great result looming has been snatched away from him with a gearbox issue. But this is Game. Game's in the pits. No such gearbox issues for the single-time world champion, and he hits his marks beautifully, as to be expected. But Ayrton Senna now leads the Grand Prix, and he has been absolutely flying in these last few laps. Comfortably the fastest man on track, and if he is going to push, now is definitely the time to do it, and he is doing that, absolutely flying, and he could be a contender for the race win. Well, not back to back, but it could be back-to-back wins for the Williams outfit. And Game comes out of the pits, and he's ahead of Damon Hill, who's an absolute shocker of an outlap. And the lap after that didn't follow too much pace either. I wonder if tyre warm-up's a bit of an issue. But Senna's in for his time, his stop, sorry. And this might be good, because it appears that Game's not going incredibly quickly either. So it could be a tyre warm-up issue really affecting the front runners. And Nannini's in as well. He's been rapidly quick as well. He looks great. And Senna has come out into the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. And there they are, what once leaders of the Grand Prix, Senna. And he's ahead of Nannini, but Game and Hill second and third. Senna leads by 3.5 seconds. How has that happened? But Hill's got pace now. The tyre warm, and he'll dive up the inside, and Game is going to close the door on him and sweep round the outside. But that Williams looks absolutely rapid, and it doesn't look like Game will be able to keep him behind for too much longer. And they sweep around turn 3, sorry, my apologies. And it looks like Hill's on the inside, and he's going to cut. And they've touched! Oh, that's a disaster. We didn't barely see it. And they've touched, and the McLaren skates over the gravel. And we're going to have a little look here. And this is the rear wing of Game. And it looks like, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it looks like Game just turns into him. And Hill is round, and he does get going immediately. So they haven't lost a heap of time. But this is on board with Game, and Hill does just appear. Hill has just appeared. I don't know what to make of this. Hill just dives up the inside. Should Game have seen him coming? But is Game making the turn before Hill gets into a relatively decent... Oh, that just looks like they've gone for it. It looks like 2-1 doesn't go. It'll be interesting to see how the FIA look at this. But I don't know, because this is looking at Nannini, and they've touched there, and you don't really see a whole lot. But Nannini's... I'll be having a piece of that, says Nannini, and he moves into second place. But I'll be very surprised if... it looks a bit... I don't know if you can punish anyone, really. And they've both not really lost a heap of time. I mean, it massively benefits this man, Ayrton Senna, who now leads by 9.5 seconds. But I'll be surprised if that might get done after the race. It could get done after the Grand Prix. Speak to both of them. More replay opportunities, potentially. But it looks... It depends whose car you look at it, depending on who's at fault here. But Jean Alesi keeping Michael Schumacher at bay, who's... seems to have upped his pace in the latter stages of this Grand Prix. The Benetton is up and down this season, they know that. But the problem is they don't believe they're going to upgrade much of it this year, because obviously the rule changes coming in for next year will make the cars so much different that why waste a heap of money on a car that's only going to live for, 6-7 months? It's not really worth it, so they could put all their eggs into 1994 and play an absolute blinder. We'll have to see. And Game's got to give the position back. Oh, this could turn some heads. Some heads may roll as Game has to give the position back to car 2, which is Damon Hill. Oh, now the FIA, they said they were going to be a lot more sterner on things like this, but I don't wait till after the Grand Prix myself to see how that played out. But, and they're coming. We're looking at Game now, and he obviously would have been told at this point. And he moves to the side, he gets to give the position back. And I don't know. I can't... We'll have to have another look at it. But to me, Hill makes a bit of a meal about getting past. I don't think Hill knows. But there he goes for it there. But I don't really know. I think Hill thought something was going wrong with the McLaren. But they're through. They've swapped positions now. So we should hear... I don't think this is the last we'll hear of it. But what do you think? Let me know. But Ayrton Senna now, an absolutely fantastic drive. The laps before the pit stop won him this Grand Prix. To be fair, Game and Hill crashing into each other did massively help as well. But Ayrton Senna takes his first win of the season and wins the Spanish Grand Prix, and Alessandro Nannini is going to glide home in second place to finish on the podium to really thank Ferrari for for their commitment to him. He was injured at Monza last year, and that podium will mean the world to him. Game in 4th, Hill taking the final podium spot, and Alesi holding off a charging Michael Schumacher there for 5th and 6th. But your race winner today, Ayrton Senna, who bizarrely has taken him this long to win a Grand Prix, but that's really chucked him back into the championship. A great couple of weekends for the Williams team. And your race winner, Ayrton Senna. And there we have the final classification for this afternoon's Spanish Grand Prix. Senna taking all 25 points at the top. He finished 12 seconds ahead of Nannini in the end. But the big talking point will be Damon Hill and just a game in the Williams and McLarens. Should a penalty have been given? Who is at fault? Let me know in the comments below, of course. But a great result for Andrea de Cesaris, who stopped his way to a 5th place, and Jean Alesi and Michael Schumacher down in 6th and 7th. Alesi, again, not really matching his teammates' pace. A lot of results, not doing well. Mika Häkkinen out of the Grand Prix for being absolutely... No, Häkkinen. We didn't see Häkkinen's retirement. Suspension failure for him. But the championship is massively, massively juicy, with Game and Hill on equal points, with Senna just 5 back. And realistically, if Benetton can get it together, they're not too far behind also. Comas stays 5th after a difficult weekend. Brundle in 6th. JJ Lotto, his win in Brazil is the only points he scored this season. But Ferrari are on the board. Williams lead the Constructors' Championship. McLaren is 2nd place. But the big news is Ferrari now on the board, as they weren't there last year. 27 points for them. And they'll be massively, massively pleased. And Jordan looking good. Well, that's all we've got time for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's not round 3. I apologise for the graphic up there. It's round 4 or 5. One of them. I forgot to change it. But that is all. Here in Spain, Barcelona, sunny Barcelona. And next time out, we've got a jewel in the crown where it's been an absolute farce in recent years. But can Game make it 4 in a row and continue his unbeaten streak as we head to Monaco? But will Hill and Game be enrolled in any more collisions? Join us next time. Bye-bye.